terrible. Like, honestly, it's terrible. Welcome to Board Games and Chill. I'm Nathan.
I'm Jerome.
And I'm Gabriella. This is Lana, our firstborn. And today we're going to be doing a review on Nemesis from Awakened Realms.
Nemesis is a sci-fi space horror board game. It's a co-op dungeon crawl with a trader mechanic and a modular board.
In Nemesis, you play as one of the crew members, and your overall goal is to have the ship head to Earth, make sure that 2 out of the 3 engines are working, and that you survive the encounters of the aliens. The way you do that is there is actions, and to do those actions is to pay with cards. So everyone starts off with a hand of 5 cards, and you pay with those cards to do those actions. And you want to make sure that you have a couple cards in your hands because you don't know what's going to happen throughout the game. Okay, so Gabby, how was your first feel of the game?
So I remember the first feel. It was a lot of fun. I know it was a really long night trying to learn that game with Brian and Precious. And, we just kind of started, like you guys read the rules, but we also did just kind of start playing just to kind of get the feel of it. And I feel like that was the best way to do it for us. So yeah, I remember that. And I remember really liking it a lot. I had, I think, an unexpected great time.
Yeah, and when we first played the game, we played it, I did split shipping, and I feel like I was one of the first people to actually own it, and I painted it before we even played. So my first feels for it, after my first gameplay, I loved it. I thought the theme and everything was fantastic, and it integrated really well. And I'm crazy enough where one of the first games I taught Jerome was Nemesis. So Nemesis, or how was that, Jerome?
My first feels on the game was intimidating because I went from playing a bunch of small card games to playing this big, drawn-out, boisterous-looking game. But it was so fun. I mean, I died like halfway through the game, and we ended up calling it just because you guys were teaching me. But it was fun.
Super fun. So, Gabby, how about the aesthetics of the game? What do you think of the quality and the way it looks and everything?
The aesthetics are really great, honestly. The minis are amazing, besides like one of them, but they did fix it. And if you know, you know. So the game board is really good. We actually got the neoprene mat because Nate is kind of a neoprene hoarder over here for mats with our board games. But the neoprene looks really good, as well as the actual cardboard board that comes with the game. All the character boards are amazing. The card art is amazing. Like aesthetically, like Awakened Realms, they did a really, really good job.
And what do you think, Jerome, about the aesthetics and the quality? What do you think?
I can't add much more to that. The game is beautiful. The quality of the components are fantastic. I was lucky and I got to see the whole game painted because you had it painted before I even knew you. So I never saw gray on this thing. So.
Yeah, my only complaint about the game is the crew member minis were kind of small, not as detailed as I would like, and they realized that, and during the next Kickstarter, they actually offered a little bit bigger minis, more detailed, but the alien minis were fantastic. I enjoyed painting them. They destroyed my paintbrushes because they had spikes on them, and it's just, whenever you paint over spikes, it's not good for the brush. It's really not. All right, Gabby, theme.
So the theme for Nemesis is, pretty much if you've seen Alien versus Predator, is basically Alien versus Predator on a board.
Basically just aliens, yeah.
Yeah, basically just aliens though. So, I think the theme, honestly, it fits really well. I think the theme is very thematic. And I feel like what makes it more thematic for us personally is that we like to play the soundtrack while we're playing the board game also. So yeah, it's the official Nemesis soundtrack.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah.
That soundtrack, that took it to the next level.
It really did. Like the first time he played that and we played the game, like it was just a whole new experience. I mean, every game that we play of Nemesis is a whole new experience, but that like really just...
Yeah. And when most people hear soundtrack, they think, oh, just music. No. They have creaks and creeps and all kinds of little noises that a ship might make, and
very environmental.
Very environmental. Yeah. It's very thematic.
Yeah. And honestly, this is the most thematic game I've ever played in my entire life.
I agree.
It ties in so well, the luck base, not knowing the alien health. There's so many ways that they tie in. You know, when you find a weapon, you know, you think you got lucky, but it's only one bullet in there, and that's just, you know, adds to the theme. This and just, you know, and the goals. So everyone has a corporate goal and a personal goal starting out in the game. And when you first see an alien, that's when you go, oh shit. You know, what I'm going to do? Am I going to, you know, try to be greedy and do the corporate goal and get that money? Or I'm going to be like, F that, I'm leaving and I don't care how it happens, who I have to betray or whatnot. You know, and that's realistic. In real life, that's the decision you have to make when you see an alien. All right. How about, for me, so setup. So Jerome and I, we have a system and we knock out setup so quickly. And it sucks when it's just one of us doing setup because it takes twice as long. And the way we have it set up now, I was able to condense it in 3 boxes, bag it up. So setup, it's a bit much, but it's worth it because at least, you know, setup may take 30 minutes, but at least the game, you know, lasts 3 to 4 hours. So you don't feel, you know, you wasted your time setting up. All right. Also teachability and ease of play and flow. So I'm going to just kind of combine that all. Since I'm usually teaching the game, the best way for me to teach the game is actually explain the end game goals. So that is, again, having 2 out of the 3 engines working, make sure you survive, and make sure that the ship is going to Earth, because maybe someone's corporate goal is to go somewhere else to drop off the plans or drop off an egg. And so the flow of the game, it's pretty smooth. Everyone does 2 actions. And if you can't do 2 actions, you do 1 and pass, or you just pass. And what do you guys think about the flow?
You hit it on the head. It just, one after the other, the player aid lays it out just the way it needs to be. And it doesn't feel clunky at all. I mean,
and what I think about the flow too is the way that time just goes by so quickly and no one notices. They're like, oh, that was a 3 to 4 hour game? Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
And that's actually the perfect segue to Jerome. What do you think about the time of play?
The time of play is, how should I say it? It can be very varying. We've played short games that lasted like 2 hours.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And we've played games that have lasted up to 6 hours. So it really depends on the luck and what's going on the board. How many, it plays up to 5 players down to 1 player. I've never played solo, so I don't know how quick those games are. But our 2-player games have lasted a while, and our 5-player games have lasted a while. So the flow is very...
The time is very varying.
Yeah, so I've never had a point playing this game where I wasn't having fun and wished it was over.
Even when we died, we watched other people play, and it's exciting for the dice rolls, and
I die a lot.
That is true. And he says, oh, I haven't experienced solo too much. I'm like, well, you've left me solo a couple times. You know, I'm like, rest in peace, buddy, but, you know, I wish you were here to help.
That's so true. But
someone did also leave us on the ship one time.
Oh, I don't care. And
he still died, though. So.
Yeah. All right. So, what do you think about the replay value, Jerome? This is actually really shocking for me in a way. Like, and almost makes me feel good in a way. Because you liked it that much.
Replay value, and I'm going to talk about the next 2 things: replay value and then price and value. Replay value is very high, just because there are so many characters that you can choose from, and there's so many things that you can do, and so many, because the board is modular. You can change up the different rooms that you can play with in a single game. And there's just so much replay value. And if you get the right goals, it changes what you can do. So the replay value, I think, is it's super high on this game. And I really enjoy the game so much that I ended up buying it. Yeah. So when the second Kickstarter came around, I bought the game myself. Even though I could play his at any moment, for the most part, I bought the game for my own purpose because I just love it that much. I'll be honest, I went all in and spent $600 on the full all-in Kickstarter of the original game and Nemesis Lockdown. So that should tell you how much I like the game and what I think the price and value is.
Yeah, agreed.
And just to add to the value, I jumped in on the first Kickstarter and I went all in on the second Kickstarter, but it's just, I never played a game like this, and I played it 32 times and it's worth every single penny, and everyone I've shown it to has loved it. And I think, honestly, just getting the core set is more than enough. I've got the other two expansions, the Carnomorphs and the Voice Eaters, and we honestly play majority of times with just the core set, and I still feel that's enough. So I think if you just buy, I think the core game goes between $120 and $150 is absolutely worth it, every single penny for me. Just the minis and the quality and everything. And look at little Lana, she likes it too.
Yeah.
I've played it 19 times, and probably 75-80% of those has been with the Intruders, which is the alien from the core set. And you just, I mean, it's so much there, and it's so fun.
Yeah. So, I guess we could just talk about overall review. For me, I just want to say that the game creates so many different stories, you know, and it's awesome. And the way that they did the system is, it's almost like a game system where you have the Nemesis game, right? And then you can plug and play the aliens. You put in the Intruders, you have one type of game. You put in the Carnomorphs, you have a different type of game. And we haven't even tried Voice Eaters yet. And out of my 32 plays, I mean, I've really enjoyed everything. Like the Intruders is the ones that come in the core set, and you can discover weaknesses, right? But the Carnomorphs are way different. They eat their own or eat objects, and then they grow bigger, and then that's how they evolve. And you're not discovering weaknesses, you're just making them weaker because they start off stronger. But I just enjoy, you can write a story every time that you play the game. You can write a paragraph, a story, and laughs and memories. And that's what I really enjoy about this game is the memories that this create, the stories that this has created. You know, one time I played with my friend Matt, a 2-player game at a game store, and I was this big badass soldier, and I left him by himself in round 2. And I was like, adios. And that was it. And the way I was able to do that was with the key, and we're gone, and that's it. And he's fend for himself. So.
Yep. And then the time that he left us, and then the time that we blew up all together, and then the time that we weren't going to Earth, and then the time that
there's so many stories.
Yeah, so many stories. The last game we played, I helped him complete his objective, so he got to finish first. You're welcome.
I always finish first.
I'm sorry.
Anyways, and then our friend that we were playing with, Erica, we were the last two on the ship. Her husband and Nate, they had escaped already, and she had gotten into the shuttle, the pod to drive off or fly off. And she was like, okay, I'm gonna wait for you for one round, but after that, that's it, I'm leaving.
She was nicer than me. I would have left her.
I'm coming, don't worry. I was already in the room, but I needed to do the 2 cards to get in there and pass the roll test. So yeah. So it was, you know, it's just funny things like that and things that you remember. And yeah, it just makes every game experience
overall,
very
you love
unique.
And it's funny because he just said while she was telling that story, oh, I would have left her. But he's come to that conclusion because one time when he was in an escape pod, he said, oh, Gabby, I'll wait for you. And she had one more thing to do, and the ship blew up. And because he was waiting for her in the escape pod and hadn't launched yet, he ended up losing the game.
I looked in the rowboat multiple times. I'm like, you know what? The ship blew up, but the pod came out. You know, just trying to figure out a way.
He's trying to tell this narrative of something that just didn't happen.
It was a great story, though.
It
was a good story. You know that.
And honestly, like I said a while ago, you know, I've died multiple times in this game, and I really thoroughly enjoyed just watching the rest of the story play out on this ship. I bought the game and spent hundreds of dollars on this to get my own copy. So my review is pretty good. I really like this game.
Yeah, this is my current. I mean, this is our current number 1.
Yeah. If you haven't watched our top 30, spoiler alert, it's our number 1.
Yeah, and it's just fantastic.
It is.
All right, Gabby, you want to send us off?
So thank you guys so much for watching our review on Nemesis. Make sure to give us some love on the video. And if you want to follow us on anything, our links will be in the description bar below. And that is about it.
And if you haven't bought Nemesis yet, buy it. Buy the local gaming store.
Local game store, definitely. I know Level Up has a few copies.
Yes, they
left.
do.
Yeah. Awaken Realms, if you want to give us the promo code, you know. that'd be
And
great.
also, feel free, honestly, feel free to PM me. I have helped out so many people. Find me on Facebook, and I would definitely help you with rules. Because that's the one thing we kind of we forgot to mention, is the rules suck. The rule book is terrible. Like, honestly, it's terrible. Every time I play, we play something wrong.
Yeah.
And that's fine because we had fun. So
Awaken Realms did everything great designing this game except the rulebook.
Yeah.
But I think probably some of it has to do with language
translation.
barrier.
But I
Or,
mean,
like,
they
with the
know
translation,
it's bad too.
Yeah,
So.
so.
But leaving off on a sour note, we love the game though. All right, take care. Thank you.
Bye. See you guys next time.